Kingdom Hearts 2 and its final mix variant is one of my favorite video games. I played through it at the end of every other summer just as a testament to how much I enjoy the gameplay. And after years and years of loving and playing this game, I finally pushed myself to beating all of the Organization 13 battles. The normal battles, the absent silhouettes, and the data battles all. There are 13 members to defeat, and I'm here to rank them from best to worst, based on how fun and engaging the battles are under normal circumstances. Number 13, Vexen, the fourth member and the chilly academic. Vexen is boring at best and infuriating at worst. Vexen does his best to keep you at a distance at all times and uses his shield as a proxy for your attacks. After studying you enough, Vexen will summon Anti-Soras to do his dirty work for him and eventually launch into a full-on assault while nearly completely invincible to your attacks. This battle is a lot of dodging and waiting around, and it's a lot of attacking proxies. In many ways, it's an unconventional battle, but in almost all of them, it feels like a tedious snore. Break his shield and quickly rush with a flurry of Firaga flames, or else he'll quickly conjure a new shield. Oh, and just in case you didn't feel like this battle was slow enough, his only reaction command is freezing you in place and you mashing break to get out of it. There's a lot of great elements here, but this one just comes out as overwhelmingly boring compared to the rest. Number 12, Xaldin, the third member and the Whirlwind Lancer.
Where's the fun in this?
Xaldin is actually the first organization member you defeat in Kingdom Hearts 2, and I can't even count how many times I've been defeated by him over the years. What a pain. Thankfully, Mickey's here to save you if you need it in the main campaign, just don't expect the same courtesy in the data battle. Xaldin is difficult for a number of reasons. He's highly unpredictable, you face him for the first time relatively early and without many of the most useful abilities, and he has an air sphere that keeps him invulnerable to your attacks until you've used the learn and jump commands to break his guard. It's frustrating and a bit tedious. You'll get through it, eventually, with enough perseverance, and I wouldn't exactly recommend it. Especially not on Proud Mode, Critical, Level 1, or any other difficulty modifier limitation. Good luck. Number 11, Demyx, the 8th member and the Melodious Nocturne.
Dance, water, dance!
Demyx is also annoying at best and seemingly insurmountable at worst. Defeating his water clones without using any magic, especially without blizzard or fire, is simply a fantasy that is all too final. I remember this fight being a major pain in Hollow Bastion the first time I played through Kingdom Hearts 2, and that feeling certainly resurfaces during the data battle. You're going to need a lot of hotkeyed ethers, pinpoint blizzagas, and fast Firaga flurries in either Wisdom or Master form. My worst complaint about this whole battle is that even if you land a finisher on Demyx at 1 HP, it won't trigger until he's spammed his 99 water clones finale. I like Demyx a lot as a character, and I find the fighting part of the fight is actually a lot of fun. But getting spammed with water clones at the open and close is just too much for me, in my opinion. Oh, and the Show Stealer reaction command is a bit of a dud too. Number 10, Lexaeus, the 5th member and the silent hero. Lexaeus is a big brute for sure, and the biggest complaint I have about this battle is the forcibly small enclosure. It isn't a bad fight by any means. Getting the opportunity to use the Mega Impact reaction command for successfully predicting and guarding against one of his attacks is actually really cool. Just be careful not to guard too often, or else Lexaeus has 2 separate methods of punishing you for being too quick on the draw. Slamming you into one of the pillars or launching you into the ground. Either way, you'll want to be careful. I was hard-pressed to dodge his attacks at the best of times, but Lexaeus isn't shy about flying off the stage and meteor dropping back into play while causing an avalanche of earthquakes all over the stage. I don't love his invulnerability state either, although this is hardly unique to Lexaeus. And using aerial attacks at the start of his windup is actually a really neat way to easily bypass the need for a counter. All things considered, it's not bad, it's just certainly not one of my favorites. Number 9, Luxord, the 10th member and the Gambler of Fate.
The first to run out of time.
Luxord certainly lays everything out on the table and leaves it all down to the roll of a dice and that final river card. Okay, I actually really like this battle a lot, especially when you're playing it casually. It's a very non-traditional battle. You have to be careful of your health and your time, while Luxord only has to worry about the latter. The card shuffles and the flip commands are a favorite of mine, and although I typically opt to avoid the begin game, it's not a bad interaction either. We have to talk about Luxord's desperation move in the data battle though. This has to be a joke. Okay, first of all, I don't think the game ever does a good job of explaining this game in the first place. I skip it altogether whenever I battle the gambler nobodies in favor of brute force. The game doesn't make the rules clear, in which Luxord taunts you specifically saying, "Do you know the rules?" And in the data battle, the speed increases so much with each successful circle press, you'd be hard-pressed to land that final circle without pause buffering. Talk about luck. Number 8, Axel, the 8th member and the Flurry of Dancing Flames. Axel will certainly give you a run for your money. This one's a quick battle, but that's out of necessity. The first time you battle Axel with Roxas, you don't have any option to guard, and when you re-battle Data Axel as Sora, you have to race against the clock of the burning floor ticking away at your health. I originally thought this data battle was the single most difficult experience in all of Kingdom Hearts, but once you get it down, it's actually a really fast encounter. Nobody said it would be easy though. The enclosure is small, and sometimes Axel will pop in and out, but this is the perfect timing to take full advantage of those reaction commands. And you'll have to if you want to defeat Axel in the data battle. Activating Burst Edge and Overtake into Clear Light is the only way to temporarily relieve yourself from the fiery flame floor. Here's your opportunity window to snag that final hit. Just watch out for the flame walls, and you should be okay. Don't worry, it'll all be over before you know it. Number 7, Saix, the 7th member and the Luna Diviner. Saix is calm and cool on the outside, as a cold and calculated antagonist for the majority of Kingdom Hearts 2. But face him head on and you'll literally see him go berserk. Defeating Saix requires giving him a taste of his own medicine. Saix, however, presents the player with a large arena to move around in, and in the standard battle you can just wait out his berserk, but in the data battle you have to use Berserk, Eclipse, and Magnastorm in order to reset Saix back to his vulnerable state. You'll have a much smaller window to grab a Claymore, and my only complaint about this fight is that Saix can slip out of the combo if you don't land the Berserk properly, and it doesn't reset his Berserk meter unless you land the Magnastorm on him. The battle's fun. The timings can be a bit tricky before you're familiar with them, but there's certainly a brutal beauty to Saix's savagery. Number 6, Xigbar, the 2nd member and the free shooter. Xigbar is quick on the trigger, and even quicker to slip out of the way. There's certainly a bit of a dance to this battle. Learning when to block, when to rush, and when to spam attacks is going to be the key to defeating Xigbar. Xigbar is slippery like a round bar of soap on a slip and slide. Xigbar will regularly transport himself and transform the battlefield to his whim, making a long corridor to snipe down, and a small stage for his desperation move. And Xigbar comes with 2 wicked cool reaction commands. Break at the start of his sniping section, and Warp Snipe to finish it off and for his big blue charge shot. Both are deeply satisfying and provide a moment of reprieve from the barrage of blaster shots. I still haven't perfected running in a perfect circle to avoid his desperation move, or even blocking and reflecting back all of his arrows, but it's still a great and memorable encounter. Number 5, Zexion, the 6th member and the Cloaked Schemer. Zexion will try to pull the wool over your eyes, but once you know his tricks, you'll be reading him like a book. I love this battle for all the same reasons that I love Luxord's battle, but with the lack of a painfully specific and forced desperation moves, this one's a personal favorite of mine. Zexion on his own is effectively defenseless, but once you're trapped inside his lexicon, you'll have to dispel a myriad of his illusions to escape. It's particularly cheeky when Zexion transforms Sora into a book and locks your commands away, forcing you to flip through the pages to find a synonym for escape. Zexion surrounds you with a hurricane of books, Belle's greatest dream transformed into a nightmare, and leaves you playing What's Behind Spotlight number 3 before you're able to escape the Inception-level designs of his illusions in order to return to Destiny Island and give this nerd the walloping he deserves. It's great. On the lower difficulties, this is one of the easiest battles with the organization members, and to me it absolutely nails that sense of power, mystery, trickery, and cowardice inherent in the higher-ranking nobodies, all manifesting in their own ways. Number 4, Larxene, the 12th member and the Savage Nymph. Larxene is lightning fast and isn't afraid to zip past and leave you buried and grounded in her dust. I hope it doesn't come as a shock to anyone that Larxene is an extremely painful encounter on higher difficulties, as her attacks are so unbelievably fast that you'll be knocked out before you realize what went wrong. In a pinch, Larxene will launch into a megavolt beam that stretches the length of the arena. Learning how to dodge, block, or at least survive these barrages of attacks are the key to victory. Once you're able to begin returning attacks, you may even be able to sneak a merge reaction command in to slam the two Larxene clones into one another and causing them to form back into one. Larxene is the organization member with the fiercest sense of malevolent, predatory, and lethal intent, and she takes great pride and joy in her work. It's great, and I really enjoy this fight for everything it brings together. Number 3, Roxas, the 13th member and the Key of Destiny. Roxas is a true Keyblade wielder and certainly makes you earn the right to carry on his legacy. This is easily one of my favorite fights, and it certainly gave me a run for my money the first time I played through it in Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. Roxas is incredibly nimble, quick, and aggressive. To me, this was always harder than any of the other standard organization battles throughout the story. Roxas has one of the absolute coolest reaction commands, when you're able to get it. If only it wasn't a massive pain to actually execute and land the duel interaction. The reward, however, is extremely satisfying. Stealing both of Roxas's Keyblades and using them in conjunction with your own is both extremely satisfying and powerful in comboing Roxas. This is wicked cool. And Roxas is still really dangerous, even without his Keyblades. I've always wanted Roxas to be the main protagonist, and this battle definitely helped solidify that feeling in my heart. I know my choice. Number 2, Marluxia, the 11th member and the graceful assassin. Marluxia masterfully whips and wields his Reaper Scythe, dangling it like a guillotine above your head as that number counter ticks down to 0. This battle, although an absent silhouette, absolutely demolished me before I had the glide and aerial dodge abilities. Being able to heal from damage taken is one thing, but avoiding Marluxia's scythe hits as he combos you into oblivion is a bit of a struggle at first without the right tools for the job. Marluxia has 2 separate reaction commands from the same prompt, Restore Count and Aerial Strike, and they're both so sick. Restore Count has you knocking the scythe out of Marluxia's hands and then throwing it to recover 13 hits back from the counter. Nice. There is so much going on in this fight, and honestly, even after repeatedly dummying me at first, and with overlapping pools, rose cages, and a maniacal scythe-wielding madman pursuing you, this is one of the top-tier battles for me. This battle itself is a bit busy, and there is the barrier to entry of having your preferred dodging techniques unlocked from the drive forms, but this battle has a fantastic gimmick that actually makes you consider how many hits you've taken. This battle forces you to learn how to guard, dodge, and count your hits. Once you've learned this battle, it actually becomes one of the easiest ones to repeat. This, to me, is a massive improvement on Marluxia's fight from Chain of Memories, while keeping the feeling and spirit of them alive and well. Number 1, Xemnas, the first member and the superior of the in-between. Xemnas is the final boss in Kingdom Hearts 2, and stands as the last member of the organization to defeat. Xemnas has a stacked deck here with a multi-tiered boss battle with several different stages and a plethora of amazing reaction commands. Let's start with Memory's Contortion. This battle has a really intimidating aura right out the gate, and the reaction commands are absolutely top tier. This is the beginning of the culmination of everything that has happened, all of the events in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. The face-down encounter has 3 fantastic reaction commands, and even a rad punishment for missing the timing. Clash mimics the encounter between Roxas and Riku, with both passing one another. Breakthrough is a proper dodge and retaliation for having some restraint. And Finish is the true reward for having patience and striking when the moment is right. It's fantastic. I honestly wish they had done more of this throughout the series. And if you fail to react at all, then Xemnas does give you a proper beating for it. This battle's great, and this is only the beginning of the end. The Slicer Escablade, and Skyscraper reaction commands are wicked cool, even though they're not really a part of a direct fight with Xemnas. Once you get to the next section of the battle, it is absolutely radical to see Xemnas in his armored form using various weapons from all of the Organization 13 members. Well, almost all of the ones you fight directly from Kingdom Hearts 2. It would have been amazing to see him using weapons from the Castle Oblivion members as well, although I'm thankful that Vexen's magically invulnerable shield doesn't make an appearance. After this, you fight the armored form again, and I just want to call out how cool the riding shot and the meteor rain commands are. And finally, into the retreat of nothingness, we see Xemnas in his final form. The swarming of reversals is like watching an intricate ballet, although I must admit that after seeing it so many times, the dance seems to take longer and longer each and every time. And good luck getting the block reaction command to trigger. And not that it does any damage against Xemnas, but it's a great little cinematic as well, and shows off Riku's importance in this final fight. Playing as Riku is also extremely cool, well, except in the data battle. And the finale with the dual reflect spam and the team-up clobbering against Xemnas is a perfect bow on top of fighting against Ansem and the Organization 13 from top to bottom, start to finish. So here's my list, based off of how fun and engaging the battles are under standard parameters. And if you've ever beaten Data Luxord with pause buffering, then I don't want to hear any comments about, oh, this list doesn't count because you didn't beat it on critical mode, at level 1 using the Sweet Memories Keyblade, no drives, no limits, no summons, and no magic, while using a Dance Dance Revolution gamepad as your controller. Although if you need an easier challenge, you could use a Guitar Hero controller instead. My only claim to fame in this video is not pause buffering, using reflect, limit, summons, or the ultimate keyblade, although I am by no means barring the use of any of those. This is a casual Kingdom Hearts video for regular Kingdom Hearts fans. Tryhards need not apply. Major respect to anyone that can beat or even speedrun the data battles on critical mode or any other limitations, but that's not what this video is about, so I don't want to see it in the comments. Alright, well that's my ranking of the Organization 13 battles. If I put your favorite battle below your least favorite battle in the ranking, then please feel free to tell me which ones you would have put higher. I know that these rankings can change drastically based on whether or not you base it off of the normal battles and the absent silhouettes versus basing it off of the data battles, as well as which difficulty and limitations one sets upon themselves. I'm sure I put Axel lower than most, while also putting Roxas and Xemnas higher than most, but I'm curious if there's any other major organization battles that people may have ranked differently. And since you made it all the way to the end, I'm going to hope that you enjoyed the video, so please hit that like and subscribe button, and if you want to see more ranking videos, then please leave a comment below and let me know what you might be interested in seeing next. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I hope I'll see you again next time.